Welcome, everyone. My name is Alejandro Martinez. I am the district's Family Outreach and Engagement Manager. Even though I have been with Hartford Public Schools, this is my 21st year. This was actually my first year within this role. And I know that most of you have been seeing me through emails or going through schools or by making the calls. So I am the face to the emails, to the phone calls. So on behalf of not just our department, but Hartford Public Schools, we would like to welcome you all. Welcome not just the parents, the teachers, community members, the board members, our superintendent, for the great work and support that you've provided to our families throughout the school year. Obviously, SGC is a great governance body to have at the school, and just to see, we're going to discuss it into details, don't want to go into details, just to see where we were in the past to where we're now. I'm astonished and I'm glad. And then without further ado, I'm going to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Torres Rodriguez, who has a couple of words for you all.
Good evening. Oh, you didn't lose the energy so quickly. Good evening. Okay. I want to echo some of Alejandro's words, but most importantly, I do want to take a moment to just say thank you for being here. One, for throughout the year, and some of you, I see you, you've been an SGC member for several years. So I just want to pause and say that I acknowledge and I thank all of that you do. Not only are you a parent or an educator in our school or community member, a school leader, a principal, assistant principal, you extend your day by the virtue of being in the SGC. And so I see you, we see you, our Board of Education, welcome. Mr. Mills is here, Mr. Tatum is here, and you might know this, but I'm going to just reiterate the fact that we have a policy that speaks to school governance councils, which anchors in the belief that we have in Hartford Public Schools with our board as to how important it is to make sure that we have a structure, that it is part of the governance that calls for voice and advocacy at the school level, and then obviously informing at the district level. So for that, I do want to say thank you for your contribution, and also just shouting out the team, knowing that you all deliver on our efforts to make sure that we continue to get better at it, right? To make sure that our families and our partners feel like they are an integrated part of the school experience. So thank you for what you do and for showing up today. I know this is a busy time of year. I know some of our schools have an event to go to right after, and so it is not lost on me. Thank you all for being here. I so deeply appreciate all of you.
And so we're going to give you a brief overview of our intentions of tonight's event. Obviously, creating connections. As soon as I walked in, I saw parents talking to each other, teachers talking to each other. I know sometimes with our busy lives and schedules and work, we don't get to do that. So I was actually happy to see that this evening. We are going to be providing a summary of the 2024-2025 SGC update. Just not an update for this year. We're going to be discussing the past, the present, and the future, because we are doing some restructuring to the way we do a couple of things, and we want to be able to present those to you all this evening. So by the time the next school year comes, we will be all set and ready to go. In addition to that, we have our McDonough Middle School SGC team here this evening. Will be a panel discussion, and I'm actually calling it SGC 101. SGCs have been around since 2008. And somewhere along the way, even though we do SGC training, we kind of have forgotten the parts of how do you become an SGC member, the nomination process, the election process, the topics of discussion that happen on a monthly basis, right? So we're going to review those, and you're not going to hear me. You're going to hear it directly from a principal, from the AP, from a parent, from a community member, and from an FCSSP. So I'm super excited for that information. We have our Welcome Center Director, Ms. Flor de Hoyo, will be doing a continuous report on the Welcome Center. And then at the end, we're going to do an SGC commitment ceremony, and we'll get to the details of that a little bit later. So as you can see, and as Janelle mentioned earlier, even though our name to our office changed, some of us have been tracking the SGC information since 2019, 2020 with the Office of Community Partnerships and Family Partnerships were was held. So at that point, in 2019, we had 60.5 of our schools that were in the yellow and 39.5% in the red. So the yellow meant schools that had 9 members or less, and in the red at that particular time, those were schools that barely had any members, right? And so moving forward, what are the strategies that we as a team have put in place to ensure that that changed throughout the year? So obviously we've done recruitment through our FCSSPs. Michelle knows. Solange knows. Those are FCSSPs. If you want to wave your hand real quickly. Solange and Michelle. They know that on a monthly basis, when we do office hours, when I do my check-ins, one of my main topics is, where are we with SGC? Are we missing a parent? Let's talk to the administrator because we're missing a teacher. What can we do to recruit? Are you missing a community partner? Okay, let's get that information out there. We have done district-wide events. This year we have done multiple events across the board to be able to promote SGC. This year we also started a parent caregiver panel, and I believe we have Nija and Lai Ping, who are part of the parent caregiver panel with us, and we meet with Janelle on a monthly basis. So thank you all for being here, being a part of this as well. New teacher induction, so that Viviana and I at the beginning of the school year were out doing new teacher orientation to ensure that we gravitate to those teachers when they're coming in, right? First-time teachers. Collaboration with the Office of Schools, leveraging community partners, outreach and engagement in the community, and then reaching out to our PTOs as well. What was the process, right? So last year, we ended the year, we went from 60.5 in 2019 to last year we were at 94.7 functioning SGCs, right? So that was a huge buzz, a huge success. And so when I took this position, I said, how can we get to 100? Yes, we've done growth, almost 30% growth, but we still have 5.3%. How can we get to that? And so with the efforts not only from our office, but the Office of Schools, EDSLs, teachers, Deputy Superintendent, Dr. Ratley, in support with everyone, this year I can say that we have 100% of our SGCs that are functioning. 100%. Let's do that one more time. 100% of our SGCs are functioning, right? And so I just want to clarify one thing. Even though I'm saying 100%, I still have 2 schools that are currently functioning with 10 members, right? So we are continue working with them even for next year. But I want to say that we've had 100% of our schools that have been meeting on a monthly basis, that have been coming not only to and I think I'm like going ahead of my slides right now, but go right ahead, Janelle. Go right ahead. I'll come back to that. And so these are the fruits of our efforts, of not just our department, but also from everyone else that I just mentioned. Strategic partnership, the Office of School Choice, EDSLs, community partners. As you can all see, last year, we had 219 parents who were members of the SGC, 166 teachers, and 65 community partners. This year, we are at 260 parents, 186 teachers, and 75 community partners, right? And even though I said that we're missing, there's 2 schools that are not fully seated, I want to say that we're not far off. We are missing 2 parents from those schools, 1 teacher from the other school. So those numbers will only increase next year by 3, right? Because that's where we want to be. So I'm super excited about that, and we're going to continue to work not only within our office, our FCSSPs, but everyone else at the district levels and school administration to ensure that we continue at 100, right? We don't want to go down, but we want to stay where we're at and make sure we keep that.
Can we just clap for that?
Yeah, yes. It speaks volume. I had to say at the beginning of the school year, I said, how do we go from 93 to 100?
And it has been a pain point across some of our schools, right? To get everyone and for our board, and so lots of work all around. So congratulations to all of you.
Thank you. And so the core functions of the SGC, we have our rules and responsibility training that happens every year for new members and existing members. We obviously have our budget training for our SGC, our SPS budget forums, the SGC principal hiring process, and just recently, a couple of weeks ago, we just had our SGC's chair and final budget forum. And these are the engagements that we have done with the SGCs this year. The individual schools SGCs in your particular buildings, HPS budget forums and training, which we have done 5. This year we did about more than just 5. I think even just with budget alone, we had multiple via Zooms, we had in-person meetings at school. So we surpassed this number. And then the one SGC board workshop, which is this one right here. In addition to that, we had SGC participate in the city advocacy day and the state advocacy day to obviously to increase and potentially for us to receive additional funding for the following school year. And without further ado, because I felt like I've just spoken a lot so far, we are going to bring in our fabulous SGC from McDonough School, who, by the way, when I approached him, I want to say about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I said, Michelle, I want to schedule a meeting with Principal Rice to discuss SGC. And the first thing that Michelle said, yeah, we'll do it. And I'm like, no, Michelle, I want to go and meet with the principal. And she said, yeah, no, it's okay. She, whatever I tell her, we're going to do. So just to let you know, Principal Rice, you were committed to this prior to me going into your building. Just FYI.
And we do have a couple of members that changed due to not being able to.
It's okay. So what I'm going to ask you all is to come up and have a seat in the hot seat.
Absolutely, thank you. I know, I'm so like, hi guys, thank you guys for having us. So we do have a couple changes. I am Michelle Martinez, I'm the Family and Community Support Provider. We have Ms. Torres, who's actually a former SGC parent and is now a community member for SGC. We have Ms. Perkins, who's one of our teachers. This is her 2nd term. We have Ms. Rice, our amazing principal. Who's next to you? Mr. Yazo, who's actually coming back to term this year, just got voted in. We did our elections for next year already. Our assistant principal, Mr. Conroy, Ms. Sahar, who's our community partner, guru, genius, who we're so happy to have here, and Ms. Lostimolo, who is pretty much a little bit of everything in our building now, right? So we're here to kind of discuss our SGC and the process. How do you want to do the questions?
You can
Or do you want to just talk?
You've been trained well because you're just going on. I have a whole agenda, but you are going on. Part of me is like, give her the mic. Let's see. Here we go.
Sorry. Do you want it back?
No, I mean, at this point, I'm like, Michelle, you were doing great. And I have to say, once again, Michelle, I have to give flowers where flowers are due. Whenever we need anything, Michelle is always there. Not just for SGC, but for every single event. So I know I might not say enough during our office hours meetings when we go check in, because we're always on a mission. But thank you for the hard work that you do in your dedication to the McDonough families. Thank you so much. And so one of the things that is great to hear is that SGC elections already happened for next school year. That means that we're starting off, we haven't finished the year, but we're starting off in a positive way. That means offset. So when I request those rosters in October, You're gonna be like, I sent it to you in June. So I have a couple of questions for the team, right? And so, once again, we're doing SGC 101, right? So we're gonna pretend that most of the people here and even our audience at home have no clue of the SGC process. And so what I want you all is to explain the process and how it works over at McDonough. So, since you already had elections, Michelle, this should be a breeze, right? So one of the questions that I have is, how do you become a member of SGC, right? Do you get nominated? Do you get appointed? Can you explain that process to the team?
Absolutely. You want me to put you on the spot? I'm actually going to put Mr. Yazzo on the spot because he just went through the process, so why not better have someone who just went through the process talk about the process?
It's also exciting because he is a returning member after he had 2 years ago you were on? Yeah, a 2-year term, and now he's back going through the process of elections. Take it away, Mr. Yazzo.
So the process I went through was we had an application to fill out. Martinez asked us who would like to be a part of SGC. After we filled the application, there was a voting for all the staff to vote to see if you would be a part of it. I was nominated, and now I'm on the SGC board.
Yeah. You make it sound so easy. It was not that easy for me. No. You think that's
I mean, and Michelle, can you elaborate on your end as an FCSSP who's out on a daily basis in the mornings in the caf? Because every time I go to McDonough, you're a little bit of everywhere, right? Reaching out and connecting with families. What was that process, right? So what was the process to you? What forms, shapes, what do you do to communicate with families to know, for them to come and be interested in becoming a parent of the SGC?
Well, I think really having them involved in the beginning from the process, because you don't have to be an SGC member to come to SGC. So like, you can come to SGC, you can come to SGC, you can come to SGC. So I think that makes it inclusive for everyone, so that makes the parents more confident. Can I use you as an example? So Ms. Torres is a little shy, and you know, she's like, I don't know if I could do this, and we're like, you can run this. Like, it really helped with some skills. It really helped her be confident. Her being a part of our team has been amazing. And mind you, her children have been out of our school for 3 years. So her kids aren't even in our school anymore. But it gave her the confidence, and it also gave us insight through a parent's eyes on how to do things. So it's a lot of, you know, sending emails out, touching base with parents at events. I mean, we started recruiting probably in like March for next year. We still have a couple parents we need, but the process will continue through the summer. All our teacher spots are locked in, so we ran the elections. And I think a big plus for us, I remember the first year, nobody wanted to be on SGC. The second year, it was like pulling teeth. I was like, I will do a raffle, I will do this, I will do anything. And now I was sitting at an event before I came here, and one of the teachers was like, why I didn't get elected? And I'm like, there were 8 of you. Like, we only needed 3 spots, and there were 8 of you. And I didn't vote, so, like, your peers voted. But it was great to see the excitement and wanting to do it, or having someone like Mr. Yazzo wanting to return to do it.
Now, in regards to electing an SGC chair, right? Can you elaborate on that process and how an SGC chair gets elected for your school? Look at Principal Rice. You're making Michelle work, Principal Rice.
She does the majority of the elections.
Yeah. So the SGC chair, we have to have a functioning SGC first, right? So it's kind of the same process. We have our SGC, and then we go in, and as a team, we do the same type of election process, because we all might be on SGC, but we might not want to be chairs. And why put someone in that position that doesn't want it? So we kind of sit down as a team. We do everything as a team. As far as picking the time and the day, I hope I'm not going ahead. Okay, as far as picking like the time and the day, it's not catered around my schedule, Miss Rice's. It's catered around the team schedule. I remember one year we had it on Tuesdays, one year we had to change it to Thursdays. So it's definitely after school, but it's based on what works functioning better for the parents, for our community partners, because you know, we can't expect Miss Sahar to be in 7 places while they're doing stuff till 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So we really pick the time in the day so that it works for everyone that's involved.
I can add a little to Okay. Also, just to add, we are really intentional about beginning that scheduling at our very first meeting once we launch in the school year so that we can talk about times that are good, times that maybe would be difficult, and we try to vary it. And we also have learned that adding that Zoom component allows for access for anyone who wants to join. Even if you're driving in your car, you can still make it to SGC. So that's another component. Does anyone want to add anything, team? Okay.
I mean, you can see with the mic, because
Oh,
think the next
okay.
question is for you. Can you explain to the audience, what are some of the topics of discussion throughout the year regarding SGC? Are you discussing new curriculum? Are you discussing budget? Can you please elaborate a little bit on that, on the topics of discussion for the year, please?
Sure. We set the agenda really tightly around our district model for excellence. So we use the 4 quadrants surrounding the support of the whole student. So we focus in on an academic update, which I give, where I'll share achievement data based on benchmarking, SBA results, etc. We focus in on operations, where I'll share information about the budget. And then I can turn it over to Mr. Conroy, because he then also shares information surrounding 2 other major components of the DME. And then we also have time for Q&A and just good of the order, so that we make sure we're getting the voice of every member and every constituent on the panel.
Thank you. So one of the things that's really helpful too is that it's very cyclical, and it's something that we continue to embed. So it's not every time we're trying to make a new agenda, the agenda actually flows, because it connects back each time. 2 components that I speak out on are the climate and culture piece and the family engagement piece. And something great that comes out of SGC is a lot of coherence to our plans in general, because our families often have input, and so that's how we're able to get that input. And a lot of times when it's come to topics like chronic absenteeism or average daily attendance, we as educators are the worst, because we talk in teacher speak, right? And so we need to be able to speak to our families and hear from them about, we have a parent, Miss Coleman, and she was like, if you say CA one more time, and I was like, sorry. We had to talk about what chronic absenteeism actually means, because it is kind of a weird metric. It doesn't make sense, right? You end up having kids come on and off and on and off if you aren't really watching it. And so it was really powerful in those meetings to be able to cohere our work, to be able to communicate messaging, and to hear from our parents about things that weren't working that we were trying. And we learned as an ACE team out of SGC so much from the family, so it's really powerful. And I just can't say enough for how much that's helped in those meetings.
That's also a really good point about the coherence, because everything that comes out of SGC funnels into other teams in the school. So for example, our ACE work is born out of work that is supported through SGC. Does anyone have anything else? Ms. Sahar?
I just want to add that during the Q&A session, Ms. Rice does a really great job answering any wonders that we have as a team, as a teacher. If I have wonders about what's happening in the building, or about like chronic absenteeism rates, or about like curriculum, or like our goals and our plans and stuff, because I'm not necessarily sitting with Ms. Rice or Mr. Conroy, and I'm in the teacher world in the classroom, and how I can connect things into the classroom. She does a really great job on how I can connect that and then bring that back into my classroom, so that I can have that through line through SGC and our work there, and then into the classroom. Of course.
Thank you all so much. At this moment, if anyone from the audience has any questions, you can raise your hand. I believe Janelle. Yes, please. So for our viewing audience, we have smaller mics so that we're able to capture your question. It has to be this one. Okay. Excuse me. You're welcome.
Good evening, and I want to thank you guys for sharing your stories. My name is Aaliyah Miller. I'm a parent with the SGC at Kinsella, and I know one of the struggles that we have. Oh, it's okay. I'll wait. I'll wait. I was like, is the YouTube playing again? One of the struggles I know at Kinsella and I've heard at some other district schools is really bringing on board parents and really working with that flexibility. So can you speak? I was really happy to hear about how you engaged on that. Do you have any additional tips, and maybe not necessarily in this forum, but is there something that could be shared with all SGCs related to parent recruitment? Thank you.
I think can you you can hear me. I think a big one is opening the meeting to not just SGC members. I think, through the years, things get mudded out and things get changed and adapted. And I think when you invite everyone into the building, it's like, do you want to be part of SGC? That's overwhelming. What does that mean? You need me every week? I have to go to this meeting? I have 3 kids. So parents freak out. So really just being like, it's once a month. And it was really powerful for us because prior to Miss Rice, we actually had to do the principal processing of hiring, which was very overwhelming. And I think that spoke wonders to our SGC because we went through a couple people. It's not like our first pick got picked. Absolutely not. Our parents were meticulous in who they picked. They thought about it. It was intentional. So I think really taking that time when we're sitting at the backpack event and being like, I need you for the SGC, or introducing them. Come back. Introducing, like, Miss Torres is at all the events and being like, this is Miss Torres. She's part of SGC. She does district events with us. She does other things with us. And then encouraging them to do it when their kids go to another school. So, and sometimes it's not that easy because you have to have, if you don't have that relationship, I promise you it's not going to work. Can you pass that down?
This is really something. What I've noted, to speak to your question directly, is Rome wasn't built in a day, right? And a lot of when we started, Ms. Martinez and I started the same year actually. There wasn't a lot of trust at McDonough as a community, and building that trust was wickedly important. And one thing that helped us do that was over time hearing from parents and then enacting what was being said. We have to put our money where our mouth is, right? So if at a meeting a parent gave a suggestion, we would make sure to implement it, and that would build trust, and then more parents would come in, and it grew and grew. And in the end of the day, we really needed that to happen in order to have it. And the other piece is we're really flexible. We literally will be like, you want to call in? Call. You want to come in Zoom? Zoom. You want to be here in person? Be in person. We've also changed the date and time monthly so that it's not always on the same day, it's not always the same time, because it is hard for families who are working and have different obligations. So being as flexible as possible has been very helpful as well.
I'll just add to, they already spoke about it, relationships are super important. Being a community partner in the building, we might have relationships with parents that somebody else doesn't have, and vice versa, because we work with them on other levels, clinically, after school, those type of things. So utilizing the people that's already a part of SGC, the word of mouth from other parents. Most parents would trust the other parent in their community, maybe before they might trust a staff member, we don't know. So utilizing those people that are already in your SGC to support and try to recruit as well. So making sure you guys work together, do that.
I think just to add on to, sorry, I don't know if this is working at all. We also ask parents when they come into the school to talk to us about a positive or something that we can improve upon. We always say, will you please consider joining us in this work? Because that's also an important time. We want to hear how we can get better, and that's the perfect opportunity to invite our families in a more detailed way, because that helps us make sure our school is a reflection on our community.
Do we have any other questions? Crystal? Well, I think we're going to switch the mic, right?
Here you go, sir.
Thank you so much for being here and sharing your guys' story. My name's Crystal Tenner. I'm the SGC chair of Environmental Sciences Magnet and a parent on the Pathways Academy, SGC as well. You had mentioned culture and climate surveys and how important those were to your school district. Both of our schools are still incredibly low at the return for parents. Do you have any suggestions on how to increase the number of parents and family and students that are taking those surveys?
You guys aren't the only ones that are low. I'm going to promise you that. Okay, and that's the difficult thing, because how do you go from 1 year of getting 200 and something, and then the next year you're in like the 30s? It's unreal. So we kind of go back to basics, as we call it. We do paper. We send paper stuff home, right? With like, we do the QR code, and your name will be in a raffle. I don't know if you did it, so guess what? If you did it, send me a like on this or a message so I know to put you in the raffle, because it is anonymous. So one is making sure we do it as staff, right, to model. And then we kind of have it everywhere. We have parent-teacher conferences. There are people out there with computers. Myself and Marie, who also is from Catholic Charities, who's like an FCSSP for Catholic Charities and does family engagement, her and I will sit out there just with computers, just on during 1 to 3. We get parents at all events. But the trick is, get the teachers involved. I promise you, they want to do the work. Everyone's overwhelmed, overworked, and underpaid. We get it, but they want to do the work. So we make it fun. So we might be like, you know, if the 8th grade gets more than the 7th grade, there'll be a raffle. Ms. Rice is always awesome about offering lunches or stuff. So really getting everyone in the building, it's the same thing with the SGC or PTO process. If everyone in the building's involved, then it can't fall on one person, or it can't fall on a team of 8. So the teachers, and like I said, everyone gets involved and gets psyched up so we have a better outcome. And then listening to actually responding to the surveys, which is what Ms. Rice is going to talk about now.
So I will talk about that too, because we actually pull out the data points, and that becomes focus for our goal setting that we share out in our community. We heard this from you, and we want to make sure we're showing you how we're addressing to improve. But we also have the home visit kings and queens here in our school who will go out to homes and bring the QR code. Let's do this together, and then you get a McDonough swag Bears t-shirt, things like that. And it not only does it help us to get the surveys filled out, but it also builds that community of, this is my, I have a swag from the school, this is our community. Yes, next year I can't wait to fill out that survey. So that also helps us. Anything else? Did I forget anything? Okay. I'll hand over the microphone to Alejandro.
Thank you.
So once again, thank you for all that great information. Thank you for your questions. Thank you so much, Principal Rice, for your leadership over at McDonough and the rest of the team. Keep up the great work. I look forward, Michelle, to be seeing your roster. And thank you so much for being here with us this evening and continuing your work. Thank you. And at this moment, I'm going to ask one of my coworkers who started working with us back in December, Flor. And the joke around our office is, if you're here for more than a week or two, you're no longer new, right? Janelle tried to play that. I think she still tries to use it sometimes, right? And so we did that to our new teammate. So without further ado, even though she might say she's new, she's been around since December, and to us she's not new. Our Welcome Center Director, Ms. Flor de Hoyos.
Thank you. Unlike Mr. Martinez, who did his whole presentation without a piece of paper in front of him, because I am new, I am going to use a piece of paper. Good evening, board members, superintendent, staff, HPS staff, and community members. Welcome. My name is Flor de Hoyos. As Mr. Martinez said, I am the new director of the Welcome Center since December, so not so new. Family Services and Ombudsman. Today, I will be presenting the Welcome Center report. In this report, you will see that it only covers up until May 2025 because the year has not ended yet. So a comprehensive report will be distributed to all of you in July. Please anticipate some adjustments to these figures, okay? You will see now for the Welcome Center, we recorded this year so far, 6,238 intakes at the Welcome Center. Last year we had 4,775. And it reflects a difference of 1,463 intakes. This growth is indicative of the rising numbers of requests processed across various categories that we have, and I will be detailing these in the presentation. We receive all of the intakes as complaints, concerns, and requests. The request remains the top reason, followed by complaints and concern. And as you can see, complaints showed an increase of 5 as of May 31st, while concerns show a decrease of 63, and the requests showed an increase of 1,521 as of May 31st. Again, these numbers will change come July 1st. I'm going to give some of the breakdown of these intakes so you can understand where the changes and the difference are. And I'm going to use only the top because there is a long list. So I highlighted my list. Choice enrollment, 107 intakes last year, 480 this year. It's a difference of 373. Clothing assistance, 205 last year, 444 this year. That's a difference of 239 intakes. Principal and staff, last year was 129. This year, 182. Difference of 53. School records, 33 intakes last year, 109. A difference this year, 109, a difference of 76. Regular student transfer, 127 last year and 204 this year. That's a difference of 77. And this year, we also promoted some of the summer school. So 21 intakes last year, 254 this year. That's a difference of 233. Please note again that this will change. This year, we extended the Welcome Center for hours for 3 days, and this made the difference in this 233 versus the difference of 233. We helped. During that time, we helped the parents or the families with applications for the summer school programming, and the Welcome Center team, along with the Office and Strategic Partnership and Fund Development team, we did outreach to families regarding the summer enrichment programs. Okay, that's our team there. The top reasons for intake, as you see, homeless remains the primary, with a reported decrease of 42 cases from previous year. And although the current year is not yet complete, we know that those numbers will change. The McKinney, what you'll see the difference is the McKinney-Vento liaison works with us at the Welcome Center. She offers vital support and resources to our community. These include uniforms, hygiene kits, school supplies, undergarment, and referral for additional services. Transportation is the second top reason. Students under McKinney-Vento qualify for transportation services, and as of May, we can see there is an increase of 129 more intakes. Whenever a family relocates, our liaison is required to fill out a transportation request form. Consequently, this results in consistently high numbers in requests. Choice enrollment, the Welcome Center offers essential information regarding enrollment and educational options for families who reach out to us. And then the last two is the clothing and hygiene kits. These were also in the top 5 categories. We assist families under the McKinney-Vento, as well as anybody in the community. In this category, we also provide winter coats to families in need. Okay, we will move on to the next one. The top 5 schools: elementary, middle school, and high school. And as you can see, for elementary, MD Fox is the top school that we receive intakes for, as it was last year, and Belize remains among the top 5. For the middle school, McDonough is the middle school with the most intakes. Last year it was Milner as the middle school with the highest numbers of processed intakes. And the top in the high school is Weaver. It was Weaver last year, and it's Weaver this year with the most processed intakes as well. That hasn't changed much. And then the next slide. This is a slide that we compare on a monthly basis. August was our busiest month last year, followed by this year, followed by October. And that's where you see all our numbers. And for those of you who may have a question between the difference of a concern or a complaint, a concern affects the welfare or the happiness of a child, while a complaint is a grievance or a problem or a difficulty. And then a request is a request. Any questions? Yes?
My question is that since Weaver was the top school, do you guys count like students that's like that in the district but is enrolled in another school? Is they're still counted as a student that's in that school, or is it totally different?
So that's a good question. If they are not in one of our schools, it won't be counted as part of Weaver. The only people that we count at Weaver or any of our schools are the people that are in our schools. Does that make sense?
Kinda, sorta.
Are you talking about like the magnet schools out of district?
No,
Which
I'm
ones?
talking about, okay, I have a child,
Mhm.
and my child was supposed to go to Weaver,
Mhm.
but did not want to go to Weaver, so I enrolled, got down and got permission for him to go to the school that his brother attends, which is Harvard Public High School.
Yep.
So my question is that, since he's not enrolled in Weaver, does his attendance, his name still appears on that roster?
No. Hartford. He's at Hartford High.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
not at all. Yeah. Yes.
I have a question. I'm looking at the numbers starting January to May in 24-25. And so if I compare it to 23-24, that's almost nearly a double.
Mhm.
Do you have any sense of what happened? What's going on?
There were a few things that happened.
Are like 1 or 2 trends? I know I dig into the data later on, but until then, what can you sneak peek?
So I did mention that some of the increase of the intakes were, and I went through, and the bigger ones were the assistance that we are providing and the fires. So this year we had a lot of fires and the assistance that we provide. So we jot down absolutely everything. And when we have donations of coats, if there's a bigger need, we also give that out and we also provide that. So in the winter months, that's where you see those big numbers, as well as outreach, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm a little curious about the homelessness rates of students. So is that equally dispersed between elementary, middle, and high school students, or is it like a particular age that people are experiencing?
That really depends on where, so there's different reasons that people become homeless. Most of them are fires. And so district-wide. So depending where in the district they become homeless, that's where the numbers are. It doesn't, I don't have a particular school that has more homeless than others, if that's what you're asking.
It was more like age and like where teachers are
Do
experiencing.
we have, I don't think we have it by
It's not.
age, right?
It has to be, because they have to be connected to a school.
Oh,
Right?
any child that becomes homeless, obviously, those are the ones that we count.
Right, and so
Yeah.
they would be connected to a particular school.
To-
give
yeah.
you the elementary, middle, or high. So I was just
Yes.
curious if we knew what was trending.
So just to add a little bit, at the end of the school year, my name is Shelima Ramirez, I'm the Welcome Center Coordinator. So I produce a detailed report per school with all the categories, in which we will be presenting to board members, and I'm pretty sure that if it's needed, the community can also have access. And that report will be very detailed per school. So these are the overall numbers. And also, I would like to add to what Ms. Deo just presented. From January up to now, the Welcome Center, in collaboration with the Office of Partnerships and Strategic Funding, we've been doing more outreach. We've been having different events targeted for McKinney-Vento and also for regular community, and we've been calling and making sure that families come to our events. So we've been doing more outreach, also including our McKinney-Vento families, apart from 4 learning sessions that we do every school year for them.
Thank you.
So that's a great question that you bring up, Jennifer. One of the things that we're doing a little different this year is to be able to track and codify the work that happens at the Welcome Center in order to allow us to look at trends and patterns. As of right now, the trends that we have or that we've been looking at is more around the number of fires that happen at a higher rate this year than last year, which gave a high peak on the numbers that you're seeing, which is why we made a determination at the Welcome Center that we're doing a little more outreach, we're doing a little more efforts, right? And we're now gonna start tracking, and this information will also be displayed publicly so we can start seeing where we are, but we're building up that muscle to be able to look at trends and patterns and figure out where higher levels of support are needed, so that when we're reaching out to partners, we have a better understanding of the type of partners, the type of services, and where do we need to be prepared when we look at last year versus this year. The number may go down, but because we're looking at our trends, we can have a better response if we know that the month of March is a month where things, or the month of January. In the past 2 years, we've seen that it's trending with fires due to heaters right? So we can be prepared for things that families would need as we reach out to our community-based organizations or partners that we develop. So that is the goal that we have for our next school year of what we're going to be implementing. So that's an excellent question.
Any other questions? Thank you to the team for rescuing me on some of these questions. I'm still new.
No, come back to the office tomorrow and say that you did.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Flor. And so moving forward, there are some important dates that we've already have for the following school year, right? So when I tell you that at the office, we're working on making some changes and strategizing, there's some dates already in place so that people know way ahead of time. One of the new things that we're actually doing that there's never been done is, as Michelle was saying, there were some SGC members that were being elected this time of the year. Effective July 1st, once I receive those rosters, they will be receiving a welcoming letter from myself, from the district, right, saying welcome to SGCs. That way they feel that not only are they connected with the school, but they're connecting to someone at the district level as well. In addition to that, this will help us have some transparency in the way that nominations and elections are being held at each individual school instead of someone actually just being told, hey, you're an SGC member, right? So when I sent these letters out, where we'll be able to not only welcome them, but also track if the process at the school level was actually followed the way that it is supposed to be run. In addition to that, school haven't finished. It has not done none, but we already have a back to school date. August 19th, yes. I know people are like, can you give me one more week so I can get a summer break? No summer break on our end. So August 19th, our back to school celebration, it will continue to happen at the Yargoats. It has been extremely successful. We usually at the back to school events, for those of you that do not know, we have vendors, we have community partners, we have arts, we have book bags with school supplies. And last year we were able to build and reach out to over 30 community partners, and we actually received the highest amount of book bags and school supplies that we received over the year. We actually gave out 7,000 book bags last year during our back to school event. So remember how in the beginning of the presentation I said, how can we get to 100%? Now my goal is, how can I match that or get more? We already have a date scheduled for November 6th for SGC Roles and Responsibilities. I'm so sorry, Jenna. For our SGC Roles and Responsibility, that is November 6th, that's already scheduled. One of the things that we're doing this year is that we're holding down to the dates that we put in place, not only as a district, but as the state guidelines, which means that we should have active SGC by the end of October. So if that is the case and that is the expectation, and we are already putting in the work, right? Everyone should be trained by November 6th, right? And if by any chance we have a few parents, a few teachers, or a few community partners that have come in later on, we will be doing the training as well as the time comes along. November 14th, this is another day and something new that we're doing this school year. So Michelle said SGC is open to everyone, right? And sometimes we gotten used to where schools just get their SGC members and they just notify their SGC members during the meeting. So one of the things that we're doing this year is by November 14th, since schools should have had at least their first meeting already, their SGC meeting dates will have to be posted to the public in Parent Square to all families, right? So that way, if I'm not a member of SGC, but I'm a first grader parent and I want to go to an SGC meeting, I could go. If I happen to be a community member and I wanted to know when is the SGC meeting happening within that building, I'm able to go because it's being shared in Parent Square, right? That will also help build transparency. As you all know, this year we had a long process with our budget season, so we will continue our budget forums and our budget meetings anywhere from December to April. And we already have an event, a date for next year's event, for this event next year, already of June 2nd. Listen, we've been working hard at the office. We've been working hard. So those are some of the important dates. We are currently working with Ms. Deb Zimmerman. There are some changes that we want to have in place effective July 1st regarding our website, some of the information that is up regarding PTOs, SGC, and important parent information. So just know that some of the information right now might be slightly outdated, but one of the things that the team is really doing in collaboration with the communications department is really making sure that by July 1st, all communication that appears in our website with parent engagement is up to date. Yes. And talking about people that already had elections and committed. So around April, I was mentioning to the SCSSPs during our office hours and professional development. Okay, y'all, it's that time of the year. We know that we're wrapping up, but in reality, we're not. We're just getting started with a couple of things. So we started the SGC process. So I spoke to the team and I said, we need to start with nominations. We need to start having elections. In addition to that, one of the things that I want to do is I want you all to look at your current SGC roster and reach out to those parents, those teachers that still have a term left, because some of them were elected this past year. An SGC term is 2 years, by the way. And if they have one more term left, or if they're planning to stay in the building, reach out to those people and let me know. Right? Let us know, because that way we have a base, we have a foundation to move forward for the upcoming school year. And from that information, I have gathered that 171 of our parents that were elected this year are committed already to returning to finish their second term already. So we've gotten 171 parents already committed to that for the next school year. So we might have a little changes here and there because people move. People might move to a different neighborhood, to a different school, out of state or city. But I already know that we have a strong foundation and a strong base, and the school year is not even over. We haven't even gotten started, right? We have 104 of our teachers already committed. Teachers that know that they're staying in the buildings, that they're committed, that they're willing to finish out their term, 104 teachers and 20 community partners. So this starting base for this year excites me, because that means that even though we might go through some bumps in the roads along the summer or at the beginning of the school year, we have a strong foundation. And for those that are wondering, what's the difference in numbers, right? Why is the parent higher, the teachers a little bit lower, and community members? So as we all know, or may not know, SGCs is composed of 14 members, 7 parents, 5 teachers, and 2 community partners per school, right? So I'm going to say that one more time. 7 parents, 5 teachers, and 2 community partners. So even by that, you can already tell that we want to be able to hear your voice as a parent. We want you all at the table. And so that's the difference between these numbers. Don't think that it's because teachers don't want to join or community partners don't want to join. It's because the base of the SGCs is, once again, 7 parents, 5 teachers, and 2 community partners. And at this particular moment, what I want to do is we have some parents already here, community partners, and teachers in-house already, that without you all knowing, we were checking your names off. We were comparing lists outside. I was telling my staff, this is the master list, check if this person's here, check if that person's there, right? And so what we wanted to do was recognize the parents that are here. Obviously, I can't recognize 171, 104, and 20, but the parents that are here, the staff that have already committed, right, to come in board next year. So if I call your name, don't be shy. Just come on up, and I apologize ahead of time if I mispronounce your name. So, da-da-da-da. We are going to start with Elaine Burgos. Elaine! Miss Crystal Tenor. Elaine, stay up here, Sorry. You didn't know I was gonna do it. Here you go, Crystal. Caitlin Chow. Juan Ortiz. Sí. Oh, yes.
It's anyone that has already committed.
Everyone's
So you are welcome.
Look at you, Miss Chow, trying to go under the radar. Look at you. Juan, venga para acá, caballero. Gracias a usted. Elijah Miller. Damaris Cabrera. Tamina Tone? Oh, look at you. Come up here, my friend. Bexaida Soto. Bexaida, I'm so happy to see you here today. I always tell Bexaida that when I grew up, I wanted to just be just like her. She is everywhere. I'm not quite sure how her schedule it's coordinated, but you go to a Hartford Public School event, there is Bexaida. You go to an event somewhere else, there's Bexaida. I said to her, what time do you have? That's how committed she is. Annette Armstrong. We also have Rochelle Villavona Espada. Thank you, Miss Annette. Thank you. Dave Thompson. Nancy Quiles. My parents will be very proud. No. Listen, and one quick tip about me when it comes to last names, if they're mentioned, I believe that names don't have translation. That's my own personal belief. So if your name is Nancy Quiles, I'm going to call you Nancy Quiles. Taisha Upshaw? Taisha. Say my apologies, Taisha. If we can have one more round of applause for all of our committed members for the following school year. And Dr. Torres, do you mind getting up here real quickly and take a quick photo with the team? Thank you all so much, team. Once again, thank you for your commitment to the students, to our schools, and this is a great way to start our 24-25. Oh, 20, look at this. Thank you, Janelle. 25-26. We're not going back. We're not going back. 25-26 school year. And I'm going to hand it over to our executive director, Ms. Janelle Hooker.
All right. See why Mr. Martinez was our host for the event? Didn't he do an excellent job? I mean, this year he definitely showed his competitive side, just in case you did not know. He is someone that you give him here and he's gonna go here and he's gonna make sure he shows off. But he went above and beyond, and the team, the FCSSPs work very tireless with him to ensure that we were able this school year to have working SGCs at our schools, right, to be able to hit that 100%. And for us today to be able to commemorate or show to all what commitment to our students and our community looks like. And we had a few parents here to be able to showcase what that looked like. So school year 25-26, bring it on, because the team is ready. We definitely know that our families are ready. And we absolutely know that the district and our school administrators are ready for anything that comes on, because we definitely know we're going to have hiccups. We're going to have a bumpy year, but we are on for the ride, and I am hoping that everybody in this room and everybody in our schools is ready to come on the bus with us, right? And take every single stop that that bus is going to do, but it's going to make sure that we have our students in the school. We're going to make sure that we work on partnership to ensure that we have supports for our families and students. And most importantly, you as families will support us in what education and academic achievement look like for our students. Thank you so much for coming to 24-25 SGC Showcase. Before you leave, we want to take a master picture. But I would also like to bring in our team that is doing the behind the scenes. I don't want to forget that. It's a small team but mighty. I mean, when you say pull up your sleeves, whatever it is that we have to do, I am really blessed to have a team that support us in that. So I'll introduce the team. Then we're going to take a wonderful picture. It's going to include our board members, so don't leave, so that we can have that to post as well. And I don't know if the super has a shout out.
She's kind of sitting there quietly, only because Dr. Riley has been very intentional, along with Janelle, to make sure that everything that we do on the academic side of the house, that it's filtered through the family, partner, SGC lens. So, you want to say anything, Dr. Riley?
Yeah, we're going to bring her down. My teacher voice.
Oh, there you go.
Please just give a round of applause for the team. So, under the leadership of Dr. Rotley, if you turn to your right, I have to think of that, to your right, this is the team that we have supporting work. We're missing a couple of members, but this is our team. And for those of you that, she's not here today, we're hoping that she would come, but Viviana Alvarado, for those of you that know her, she is transitioning out. She's not gonna be in our team. It's gonna be a huge gap for us because of her energy, her passion, her vision. We're definitely gonna miss her, but the team that we all learn from her, and we're trying to squeeze out as much information as possible, and she's still gonna be a part of our team no matter where she goes. So the last thing that we have for today, as we go, we're gonna take a picture so that we can document today's event, and then we will be able to say good night for the evening. Thank you so much for coming out. All right, so we're doing picture. Oh, yeah, one more thing.